Welcome to episode 380 of the Game Deflators podcast. My name is John, and I am joined by Ryan on my left side, or I don't know. What side are you on today?
I'm on the bottom, John.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. Here at the Game Deflators podcast, we like to talk about games. We've recently picked up games we're currently playing, and we learned to judge a book by its cover in this week's Inflation Deflation Challenge.
So we are playing some Page Master on the SNES as part of a movie games month. I don't know why we did this because they're some of the crappiest games that I could think of. Right?
I know. I wonder if there's any. There's got to be some like really good ones.
I mean, this is a good one.
The Lord of the Rings game on like the Two Towers one on the Xbox 360
Ooh,
or the regular Xbox. Yeah, it's like an action adventure like RPG.
Oh, okay, that one I have heard. Good
yeah,
things
that
about.
one's sick.
Okay, and I think it's on
Do the
GameCube
Lego
and stuff
games
too.
count? Because those are all like movie, and those are all pretty much like the same 7 out of 10, maybe 8 out of 10.
That could work. I think we could do one of those. All right, we'll look into it. We'll
talk
do
a Lego month at some point. That would be.
Yeah, maybe we save that for a Lego month. Okay, yeah. Well, what else are we talking about today?
All right. So anyways, Valve starts racking up the late fees as the Steam machine gets delayed. Then the next story in the Horizon series turns the page with a new look and a multiplayer focus. And finally, we face our destiny and close this chapter with our Inflation Deflation Challenge on The Page Master.
Greatest movie of all time. Arguably.
It's a good one. It's a good movie.
Good
I was gonna watch it, and I didn't. But I remember
I did watch it recently. My son did get scared during the like Jekyll and Hyde book.
It's a scary, like a little bit movie when you're a kid. When you're little.
Yeah, that little.
Spooky?
Yeah, I was thinking, what was in our movie? Another one I saw recently. I used to watch when I was a kid. Did you ever watch The Princess and the Goblin? You ever see that one? Oh, dude, that's a good one. It's right up there with like Black Cauldron, in a way.
Princess and the Goblin? Is that the one with the dragon with 2 heads?
No, look it up. I don't know. You might have seen it before, but it's actually a rare movie. I remember seeing it on VHS when I was a kid, and I picked it up on DVD several years ago. And that's a good one. You never seen that one?
No memories of these ugly goblins.
Yeah, there's another movie I remember watching when I was younger too, but I got it's I forget the name of it offhand, but it's like these child animals that their like home area has like a gas leak or something.
Oh, The Secret of Nim.
Is that what that one is? The Secret of Nim?
Yeah.
No way. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's The Secret of Nim.
I could have sworn it was a different movie. I was thinking Secret of Nim, but
yeah, I think that's it.
No. It's not Secret of Nim. Let's see. Movie.
There's like a mole with a gas attack.
Yeah, but it's not Secret of Nim. Hedgehog, gas leak, and flying airship. Let's see what comes up here. Once Upon a Forest.
Once Upon a Forest, that's it.
Yeah. But you know which one. You knew which one I was talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
There's some. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like you think about Page Master, and you kind of look back at other films during that period of time, and like those are just some of the ones that stuck out. So I've been having.
Is there a We're Back game?
There is, I believe. I want to say it's on PS1.
Yeah, there is on SNES or Game Boy.
Okay. Yeah, I could have
get some John Goodman on.
All right, yeah, we could do some We're Back. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, speculating on future episodes. You'll find out. We'll let you know.
All right. Well, to go ahead and kick us off, of course, you can find the Game Deflators on thegamedeflators.com. You can also find us on YouTube if you're watching. Thank you. Go ahead and like, subscribe, leave the comments, all that good stuff that comes with it. Thanks for watching. You can also find us on all of your favorite podcast applications in the market. So if we're not on there, let us know and we'll join. Of course, leave us a 5-star review and like, subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. And you can find us on social media at Game Deflators and at The Game Deflators on all of those great all those great social media applications. And if we're not on there, we just don't have time to manage it. So don't tell us to be on there. That's all. All right. Moving on to pickups. All right. This finally came in. Got my box of Larwin. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
Drafting it up this next week?
Well, I was supposed to play with Rob on Friday, but I caught a cold. after my
Yeah.
trip to New Orleans. So that sucked. And it wasn't even like a cold that I caught while I was at New Orleans. I caught it from my son just before leaving. And you know how it is like when you travel, if you have like even the slightest of sickness, the second you get back, you're just done. So kind of worked out like that. Luckily, I was able to maintain it because I was at a work event. So I was able to kind of keep everything at bay. But by the time I got home, I was done, dude. I was out for the count.
If
So the
your
whole
doctor called out sick, that was John's fault.
definitely would not be the type of doctor that they would be seeing. But yeah, more than likely, if they were looking for that type of specialist, they probably would be blaming me. No, I washed my hands. I wore a mask and all that, and I was pretty clean the entire time. Tried to prevent shaking hands whenever I could, but I was hand sanitizing on a consistent basis. So, yeah, it wasn't until I got home where it was pretty bad. So before that was fine. But yeah, so it sucked. I was going to draft on Friday with Rob and couldn't because I was like, dude, you're like 65, and the last thing I want to do is give you a cold before the week starts for school. And I know how his PTO and stuff runs, but yeah, I'm looking to maybe draft it this coming Friday, and I'll probably have Thomas. Maybe his girlfriend will come over. I'm not sure. Apparently, she's been interested in playing. And I'll like to have John and
Morrowind would be a great set to start with, honestly.
yeah, and I'm not intending on anybody to have to pay me because I was gonna crack this open anyways. My goal on this is just crack open the packs and then just have everybody play, have a good time. Nobody has to worry about paying out, and most people are okay with that in our group. Just
I
to have
mean,
some fun.
people like everybody in, some people want the cards, some people just want to play. Like if I could just go someplace and play draft and not have to worry about keeping any of the cards or exchanging money, fuck yeah, I'd go and just crack packs and play a game and leave them all there.
I like collecting cards, so whenever I draft, I have to keep all my cards. So that's why I was like, well, yeah, you guys can come and you know crack open a packs, but it's all my cards. Like I'm not gonna have you pay out for packs. Like if
You
we
can
want to
play
do
with
that,
my toys.
you can play with my toys, but you cannot keep them. Yeah, basically. But I would welcome, of course, to draft this set again. I'm a big fan of that world in Magic, and so if the group wants to do another booster box and draft it out and split up the cost, I'm happy to do that. But this is my box, so that's where that's going. Uh, that was it for pickups. I should have another pickup coming next week. So we'll see. And then also continue to play a little bit of Valkyrie Profile. Did not play much Plucky. Well, I didn't play any Plucky Squire this week because I was obviously on my trip. And then I'm gonna assume that you probably beat it just based on
Nope.
that look you're giving me.
You just got
But
lucky.
but yeah, my wife was also sick, so it's just one of those no time to play, and I finally got a little time to play some Valkyrie Profile. But Valkyrie Profile is interesting. So I like it, but at the same time, it's not exactly my favorite RPG I've ever played. Um, you have like a certain period of days, it's like 180 days where you have to get through and hit certain objectives before you like get to that 180th day, and there's three possible endings. So you have to, if you go too quickly and you don't hit of all the objectives of say getting warriors for Valhalla for this like big battle, then you get like a bad ending, right? And if you get all that but you don't hit like a certain type of quota or score for Odin, then you get like a certain ending, and then there's like a perfect ending that you can get as well. So it's interesting because every time you start like a new chapter, you have to enter into a mode where you go to see like a spirit or an individual and something that's occurred in their life, and then you have to kind of live out that thing, right, and recruit them. So a good example is I just finished in a city called, I think it was Hailan, where it was a story of a mermaid, I think it was, that was stuck at sea as part of a wreck, and she was rescued from, yeah, I know, it was weird, and
A
she was
mermaid
rescued. it
stuck
was
at sea, you say?
it was so weird, man. So like
Stranded in the ocean.
it was the
A
weirdest thing.
mermaid.
So she gets on this ship, and then she lies, of course, of her status as a mermaid, and they take her in, and they have this whole story it develops with that character, And then towards the end, uh, she reveals her secrets and everything, and I guess like she dies. Like she goes out to sea and she ends up dying. And so you recruit her for your like it's so
Are you
weird.
sure
Like
it was a mermaid?
it was definitely a mermaid. It was
Did she
definitely a
have a
mermaid.
tail?
Yes, and when she uses certain magical abilities, her tail appears. It's the weirdest thing.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like a what do you call it? An aerial situation. So
Mm.
kind of the same concept, I guess. But yeah, so like you recruit certain characters, and then those characters you have to build certain qualities. So at the beginning of a chapter, this fairy will tell you, "Hey, Odin is looking for an archer, and that archer needs to have the following abilities." And they have to have a score of whatever. You get scores by leveling up and getting experience points that can then be used into certain types of characteristics. And then those characteristics create like that character. So if you're nimble, for example, or you have the nimble ability, you can add that and that adds to your score. So you generally start at like a negative 60 player score or warrior score. And as you kind of add to different categories, that player score goes down to 0 and then it goes up until it hits a certain threshold. So for the one I'm on now, they want a warrior who has a warrior score of 50 and is good at, I think it's traps, intelligence, battle tactics, and one other thing. I forget what it is offhand. But you have to hit those scores, and then once that happens, you go ahead and recruit them to go to Valhalla, basically. And then you gain Odin's favor, and then over time you'll get whatever points. But from a story perspective, so far there isn't much because all I'm doing is like these little short stories of these characters, and then going into like certain levels, completing it, getting treasure for Odin, and then rinse and repeat. So it's not like this super concrete story that I'm experiencing so far outside of like the small things and just a general knowledge of Freya and Odin have sent you to collect souls so that way it can be used in the battle for Valhalla. That's pretty much it. Like that's all that's kind of happened so far. Um so yeah, so it's okay so far, but with that said, I'm also watching Record of Ragnarok. Have you seen that one yet?
No, I don't think so.
So it's on Netflix. It's got seasons 1 through 3 out right now. Season 4 should come out this year, which I'm hoping is the final season. But basically, it's all of the gods. So it's all gods. Like it's the Greek gods, it's the Norse gods, it's
Okay.
like Indian gods. All these gods have come together and they've decided that they're
Jesus?
gonna. Jesus is actually the only one not there, but I will tell you that in a minute. So basically, all of the gods have decided that humanity must end. After 7 million years, humanity just needs to die, needs to go away. And so the Valkyries step in and say, nope, hey, we're half human. We're going to step in here and we're going to, as part of this clause that the gods have, you are to allow the humans a chance to fight for humanity's sake, right? So they pull souls throughout human history to fight the gods. And so one of them, funny enough, is Adam, who is the first human, right? And is made in God's image. So he's able to like copy and
Which
replicate.
one?
He actually copies everything from Zeus. So they call Zeus like the All Father, basically, in this, or the Almighty God. And so he's able to copy any god essentially. But it's cool, man. They have like Jack the Ripper fights Hercules. They have, yeah, I know it's crazy. They have Tesla fighting Beelzebub. Hades fighting this like the king of the beginning. I forget his name.
Man,
Uh,
I hope in like
it's
100 years they don't have like anime where they're like summoning Elon Musk to fight like Odin or some shit. That'd be embarrassing.
Dude, it's actually really cool. Like I would check it out if I were you. So every episode, like every few episodes is a battle. So the first
You should have seen
battle,
the episode where Einstein whooped Tara's ass.
that'd be pretty awesome actually. I think Einstein's actually in the background for the Tesla one. And like Edison's there and I think
Oh
Galileo's
my
there and like
god.
finishing each other's sentences and shit. But it's pretty cool. Like they go into like each respective character's like backstory. So
Mhm.
in that case it would have been like, hey, here's Tesla and how he came to be and how he became the person that he is today. And then it'll also have like Beelzebub, like how did he become Beelzebub, basically. So it's pretty cool. Like, and it's super gory. So they have like
Interesting.
limbs flying off, like arms being chopped off, blood everywhere. They actually do have some historically accurate individuals, as well as, of course, the gods that they're fighting. But it's pretty cool.
Sounds a little
So
bit like a Fate or something.
I'm not sure. I was looking for something to watch on my trip, and I had a 3-hour flight both ways. And then whenever I'm sitting in a hotel room, I'm like, well, I don't know, I'm just gonna download
Yeah.
Netflix. Because generally I'll watch something on my phone and go to sleep. So I was able to on the flight because the episodes are 20 minutes a pop after, intro and outro and all that. I was able to get through like season one on the trip there and then season two on the trip back, basically.
Hell yeah.
And then I started up on season three. And then, of course, as I'm going through season three, I'm just thinking, well, hold on a sec. There's supposed to be 13 battles, and they're only on like battle number 7 right now or 8. I'm like, there's no way they're gonna get to 13. So I looked it up, and yeah, sure enough, they're gonna have another
They're
season at
working
some
on it.
point, but it hasn't been announced yet as to when it's
Okay.
coming. But it's
Dope.
very popular apparently. So and there's a
I
manga and
I
everything
think I've
else.
heard of it, but I've never seen it. Maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I'm enjoying it. So yeah, definitely check it out. That's why I brought it up. But that's it for me this week.
All
How about you?
right. So I went and saw Iron Lung. If anybody
Nice.
is unfamiliar, Iron Lung was an indie game. It was like pretty low key, not like a big title. I remember hearing, some people talk about it back in the day. I think the Game Theorist made like a video on it that I had seen, or somebody talked about it. At least one person I watched was talking about it. I've never really watched Markiplier, so I kind of missed that whole boat. But a good friend of ours really into Markiplier, and they went and saw it, really liked it, and so we were like, yeah, I mean, I haven't seen a movie, like been to a movie since we moved, since before we moved. So I don't even remember the last time I went and saw a movie. It might have been Wicked.
Hmm.
So
Like
we
the
actually
new
no,
Wick?
we saw Wicked at home. So it wasn't even that. It was something before Wicked that we'd seen. So I don't even
I was gonna say
remember.
because the new Wicked just came out.
No, not the new one, the first one.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so it was really good. It was really good. It definitely deserves like all the money that it's getting in the box office. Like, screw the like Hollywood corpos being like negative on the film. Like, definitely, if it's, I mean, I doubt it's still out in theaters. I don't know if they've extended the run that long. But whenever it hits streaming or you have the option to be able to watch it, I would definitely recommend it. It is very worth your time as an interesting movie.
What is it? Is it based on? Okay, it's definitely not based on polio.
No,
That's where my
it's
mind.
based on a game. So in this world, it's like the far future, like the stars have like gone out, and these people don't even know if they're like the last humans left in the universe or not. But for some reason, they're at this moon that has like a blood ocean, and so they drop these like, they call it Iron Lung. It's like a submarine, and in the game, it's a very simple game. Like, you're in a room that's like very like PS1 graphics, and it just looks like a big rusted container that you're in. And you basically have like, you could turn and you can go and you could take a picture of outside, and you've got a map, and you just have to go to all these points and take pictures. And that's basically the whole game. And we, after we watched the movie, we came back and watched Markiplier do his like full playthrough of it, since he was so inspired. Like, he directed, wrote, starred, produced, like this was his thing. He didn't seem that enthused. Like, when I went back to watch the video, like, I had assumed he would be like, this is the best game ever. But he was like, he kind of like role played into it. And we saw like an interview later where he said he was like a little bit tired. And so he just kind of got into like the role play mode. And I mean, it was an interesting game, but it was only like 40 minutes long. It's not like some deep touch you kind of thing. But it just must have really resonated with him. But yeah, it's a tremendous hit for like a low key kind of like, indie horror esque kind of movie, I guess.
Yeah, it's got it was a $3 million budget. Box office is 34 million so far, so it's obviously exceeded that.
Yeah,
89% Rotten Tomatoes score for actual people, and then 59% on critic. But obviously, like, who cares about the critic score?
screw 'em.
Yeah, so interesting. It's actually showing at the theater near me tomorrow. I, I'm I should go see it because it's like 8:40 p.m. and I know my wife will be asleep by then, so I should totally
It's
go check it
It's
out.
dope.
But
Like, honestly, it's worth checking out. I mean, you don't I mean, go to the movies. If you can go to the movies and, have that experience and support, the creator and support this type of project, like, it's about time that we got, like, some people that know what they're doing with games in charge of making a movie about a game. Like, I don't care that the guy who made the World of Warcraft movie likes World of Warcraft. He did a bad job making that movie.
wasn't that bad. But yeah, it was
I
pretty
don't know. I
bad.
never saw it. I'm just going off of other people, but yeah.
I saw it not too long ago. Yeah, it looks interesting. Yeah, worst case scenario, I'll see it when it's out of theaters anyways. But yeah, I will definitely
And
check that
then
out.
I did have a couple of pickups this week. I guess that kind of counts as a pickup. I accidentally put it in my playing section. So I picked up something that I've wanted for a little while now. I went to PAX earlier this year and I met some people when I was doing the Beyblade. Um, they were actually from out of town working at a booth for the manufacturer of this device. There's a company out there called Junk Food, and they make this guy. This is the Snackbox Micro. It is a leverless fight stick. So
Hmm,
leverless means instead of having the joystick for the buttons, you've got your left, down, right, up. So
nice.
it's just a little bit different. It's a little bit easy. I mean, it's more accurate for putting in inputs. Wouldn't say it's easier. Like I've been like practicing like this motion to like roll my because you got to hit like down and left so that you've got down, down left, and then just left to let go to do like your fireball or whatever. Like that's basically your quarter circle. So I've been like practicing kind of just like rolling my hand and tapping on like my leg or the table or whatever.
Yeah, I
Cause
was gonna
I'm
say that
gonna,
does seem a little more difficult than a joystick. I'm not a big fan of joysticks. I prefer a general control.
Mhm.
But when it comes to things like the half circles and whatnot, a joystick is definitely much easier.
Yeah, I mean it is, but this can be as easy and more accurate and
Yeah,
quicker. It's actually supposed to be really good for like charge characters because you can just like hold back and then tap forward. You don't have to like move the joystick like across neutral to like get to the other side. I'm not even playing a charge character. So anyways, I'm getting into fighting games. I've always kind of wanted to try getting into fighter game. Like I got uh Dragon Ball Fighters which came out in 2018. 2018? That game's been out for 8 years? Oh my
there's
god.
so many Dragon Ball games for fighting.
This is like the 2D like cell shaded one that looks like you're playing the anime.
Yeah, I
There
mean
was like
a lot of them are like that on PS3 and I think PS4 has a few as well.
this was a PS4 one.
Okay.
This was like the one that looked like super amazing when it came out.
Yeah.
So, and I never made it very far in that. That was like a tag team fighter. Tag team fighters got 3 characters. It's a lot of characters to learn. I didn't have that much patience. And
You should
also
get
when I
the
bought the game, it was like the servers were fucked. Like I couldn't even get into a match to like learn the game. So I may go back to that one day, but basically I decided Guilty Gear Strive is going to be the game that I'm going to kind of like focus in on to start. It's a 1v1. It's on the PS5. I already bought it. Unfortunately, I bought it on digital because it was only $20 and it's still like $50. Like even
oh, for
on like a lot
physical?
of eBay listings. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, and it doesn't come with like all the DLC either. So I was like, I'll just pay $20, get the digital, and just be fine with it. So I've been dabbling in that. I've decided that I am going to main Milia as my character. Um, she's a little bit difficult to learn, I guess. I don't know. I've been watching a bunch of content. And some people say, oh, she's pretty easy. And other people are like, oh, no, she's pretty hard. She's like a little bit of low health, but really fast. It has like a lot of like mix ups. So I just got to like be an aggressive kind of player. So we'll see. I mean, nothing set in stone. I may update you later on my fighting game journey, but it was It's something that I wanted. I got it on Facebook Marketplace. It's got like a bunch of stickers and stuff in it that I'm gonna redo myself. But it came with
So
this like heavy metal back plate that gives it like a lot more heft, so it won't like move around.
So you can take off the back plate, add stickers and stuff if you wanted to on the inside, and then close it back up. Like,
Yeah, yeah. So this
oh,
back plate isn't the original back plate. And actually, the board in here isn't the original board either. So this board is like the Gen 2. I guess the Gen 1 boards are green, and then the Gen 2 and 3 are white. But
Hmm.
some of them, like the older Gen 1, wasn't compatible with like PS5 and stuff. So this one is, and I don't need like a dongle or anything. Like some of them are like, it'll connect for a few minutes and then the connection will break. So you need like a special dongle to be able to connect it. So I found this on Facebook Marketplace for like 160. They're 220 for like a basic new one. So
oh,
this has
okay.
like
So you
already
got a
been
good deal.
upgraded and just kind of worked. Like I did have to update the firmware. Like it took me like an hour tinkering with it, but it wasn't a bad experience. And now I know a little bit more about it if I ever need to go in and update it. I've done that once before.
Interesting. Well, definitely
So,
excited to see what you do. And then, of course, you should look at One Piece because there is a fighting game on there as well.
oh, is there a One Piece fighting game?
Yeah, we played it on the podcast on PS4. There's a One Piece fighting game. There's several, actually.
I remember playing the GameCube one.
Yeah, we played on PS4 because I bought it
Mm,
specifically for the podcast to play it.
okay,
It was
well, I
cheap too.
forgot about that. Was it a 3D fighter?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I could probably check that out too. I mean, like I said, I'm open to checking out other stuff. I should try this One Piece one. That'd be sick.
There you go. Yeah, we
So,
had a good time with it.
yeah, there's a bunch of them actually. Now that I'm looking
Yeah,
on here.
there you go.
So yeah, I'll keep messing around with it. I'll give you guys some updates on my fighting game journey. I figured that if I committed and I got the thing, then that'll give me kind of more motivation to stick with it, because it's like otherwise I could just see myself buying another fighting game, sitting down and sucking at it. Like at least this gives me like I can learn the pad while I learn the game, and hopefully it'll just be like a cool fun thing, cuz sometimes I think you need a thing to kind of lock you into something.
Yeah, you need like some motivation in a sense, and you're motivated to learn that board, which in turn forces you to play fighting games. So
Exactly.
you get to experience some new ones. Yeah, I like it. Nice.
And then I picked up another game, also digital, just because I was kind of in like a hurry, and honestly I thought I would just be able to re-download the demo, but I couldn't find the demo again. But I bought Dragon Quest 11.
Oh,
I
nice.
Yeah, I had not thought about it in a long time. I played the demo back a while ago, like when it came out, and I was listening to a podcast by, oh gosh, he's like the lead editor at some gaming place. I'll look it up while I'm talking, but it was a podcast about Dragon Quest, the series. They're having like a big anniversary, and I was like listening to him on a different podcast, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember that." And then he had Tim Rogers talk about Dragon Quest as like an extra bonus in his like Patreon. I didn't sub to his Patreon in order to listen to that, but it was something that turned me back onto watching Tim Rogers of Action Button. If you don't know who he is, he's crazy. He's got way too long of videos that are nuts. But yeah, I decided to get back into Dragon Quest, and I went with 11 because, Tim Rogers says that that's the best, and I really like it. And then I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to walk this game. Pulled out the like stowaway treadmill that we have that like you could fit under and store under the couch where it's been,
Yeah.
busted it out, put a Joy-Con in each hand, and I walked 2.5 miles while playing 50 minutes through like the intro tutorial to the game again.
That's an
So,
interesting way to do it. So you're going to set like a walking goal and then play as much as you can till you hit that goal?
well, no, so it's like the game is like a 100-hour game. I walked almost 3 miles in an hour, so I should be able to walk 300 miles by the time I beat this game.
I mean, it's a good way to look at it. If you say, hey, I'm going to
Mhm.
put in an hour of walking every day that I play this, I mean, you work out and that's a cool way to do it.
Yeah, I had heard of somebody was doing this a while ago, and they were doing it on Switch because like the Joy-Con in each hand is just like a really good, like easy to control thing. Like I couldn't imagine like walking and like holding an Xbox controller. Like I guess you could do that. It would just be a little
Uh,
less natural.
I have played MTG Arena while running on the treadmill before. It's not as hard as you would think. In fact, that's much harder
Well,
to
that's
do
like a
that.
turn-based kind of thing.
Yeah, it's turn-based, but you're still like holding a cell phone and having to select and, look at a hand and focus on it. So I would think like running, it's I don't know, a little bit easier, I guess, to have a controller versus a cell phone. So, because of the grip and everything, it's a little easier to grip a controller than it is a cell phone. Unless you have
Mm.
like the dog bone thing, or whatever it's called. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. No, it's cool. I actually have a Dragon Quest pickup, but that'll be in next week. So we'll talk about that then.
I found the guy's name. It's Chris Plant with an
Oh, okay.
E, co-founder of Polygon.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure that podcast is pretty good, given the insider information there.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's an interesting, it's called Post Games is the podcast, and he does it in like a kind of like one person style podcast. It's more of kind of like an NPR kind of like just talking.
Mm-hmm.
So the Dragon Quest one is the only one that I've listened to, but it was pretty good. It was a pretty good listen, and I'm looking forward to getting some more of that game in because it's going to be a long road, literally.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I haven't played a ton of JRPGs in the last few console generations, just because they started going longer and longer, and it's like you could still have a great experience at 50 to 60 hours. You don't have to go 120, 130 hours like some of these
Right.
games are. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's unfortunate. And just at this point, I don't have time to play that. Not that long. So, hence
So
why
I
I'm
don't really.
dipping into PS1 RPGs. So,
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're a nostalgia fan, and plus, you've already got all those games. You might as well get through them before you
yeah.
buy the new long ones. You can come on, dude. This will be your 60s. Your 60s will be playing all these 100-hour PS5 RPGs.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to try and get through a couple of them this year on PS1 because like you said, I got most of them. So,
Mm. So
cool.
that's what I've been doing. I mean, the Dragon Quest, all I did was kind of do like the intro kind of demo tutorial part. It really wasn't anything to write home about. So once the story kind of picks up, and I mean, I definitely made it probably like 5 or 6 hours into the game, I want to say, because I think the original demo was like 12 hours of content or something. So pretty substantial. So I haven't
Nice.
even caught up to that. But once I am more in, I'll try to do, I like how you kind of usually do like the little updates on where, your game's going and stuff.
Yeah.
I have Emerald kind of still lingering a little bit. I might play a little bit of Emerald here and there. Kind of
It's
gave up on
slowly.
the Mario randomizer thing.
Okay.
Um, it was interesting to start, but then I like, as I was kind of learning more about like how to do the runs and like kind of I started like every day I would get home and I would watch a video of this one guy who plays the game, and I just realized pretty quickly that I am not really going to be in a place where I'm going to remember like the randomizer. Like I think to play the randomizer, you really have to kind of be like in it because otherwise I'm going to forget where I already went and then it'll be impossible to like ever finish because I'm gonna be like, where do I go? Where have I already been? Like and as like the randomizer kind of goes through, like if you make a new seed, like blending the memory of where you were in the one seed and where you've been in the next seed, like that's all gonna be way too much. Like until I'm at the point where I can sit down and like play through it all in like one sitting, that's just not gonna be feasible. So I kind of have abandoned that idea for a little bit.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
And I didn't beat the Plucky Squire yet, but I still think that I can beat it before you.
Well, we'll see. I mean, my wife and I'll probably start playing that again this week. So we'll see where that goes. Well, let's dive into some fast news. We got to have like a little audio thing that goes across now. So just a couple things. One of them is there was a discussion with somebody from Wizards of the Coast discussing the secret layers that they have for Magic and how, hey, people are complaining. They want print on demand versus the method they have right now, which is pretty much it's already in stock. You pre-order, there's a little bit of FOMO, and then it gets shipped out to you right away. So the argument that has been brought up for Wizards is basically saying like, hey, when we were doing on demand, people were waiting months and months, and we had tons of product in stock, and we couldn't get rid of it, and so it causes an issue internally as far as having that product in stock and not be able to get rid of it and such. And I think you had even mentioned before we were recording that they had thrown away a bunch of stock at one
Yeah, they
point
kind of like
because
they started with the print on demand model and then they switched to let's print a bunch to have ready to go and do the on demand window and that kind of left them with too much product that they couldn't get rid of. And I mean they even still have like if you go in like you could buy some of those Sonic sets. I don't know if they're still available, but like there's some secret layers that they like don't sell out of.
yeah. Um, and so their argument, of course, like, hey, there's too much product, and then this is supposed to be a collectible type product, and you kill the value if you print on demand versus having a window where X amount of stock and when it's sold out, it's sold out. So like I understand that component, but at the same time, players are having to pay 2 and 3 times the amount of money to pick up secret layers after the fact from scalpers. So I'm 100% okay with like this methodology of, hey, you got to be there, you got to order within a certain window. But when you got people ordering like 10 copies of his stuff through bots and are not doing anything to secure those like for actual people to pick
Mhm.
up, that to me is where there's an issue. Like I've never had an issue of like the FOMO experience and jumping on. I've just had an issue of companies not being able to handle the bot component of it.
Yeah,
So
the world's just sucks and
yeah.
and scalpers just suck. So like until we could fight them, there's not really much we can do.
Yeah, what they realistically should be doing is having like a small print on demand window and then just like this notice of, hey, there's X amount of stock that's available right now. And if you order it, you're going to be guaranteed to get your product within the next week or two. If you print on demand, there's only a certain period of time that's going to be open. Let's say it's 48 hours after that window, and you might have to wait a month to get your product. I'm sure
Or
there's
why
people
don't
out
they
there.
sell them in stores? Like why don't they like you could go like I remember seeing secret layers available like in a game store.
Yeah, because those game stores picked up a ton of copies of it and they have them. That's part of the issue is
Mm.
that you have game stores that are picking up tons of copies of Secret Lair and then selling it above MSRP in their shops. So that doesn't help either. So I get the whole component of it's collectible and there's FOMO and everything else. But when game stores and bots and all these people are buying up tons of copies of it that players can't even get one, that's a core issue. I mean, we see that across everything. I mean, you see it across like the computer industry as far as PC parts. Pokemon's got the issue. One Piece apparently has the issue as well with their card game, as we've talked about. And then, of course, Magic has had its issues as well. So there's nothing really that can be done outside of, as I said, a hybrid model approach where hey, you're going to get your product. It's going to be in hand next week if you order, and you're one of the lucky few that gets that product based on what we have in stock. And we'll print on demand for the next 24, 48 hours. And that's it. And then you're going to have to wait a month to get that product. There's no refunds, no nothing, but at least you're guaranteed that you're going to get that product. I think that would kill the scalper market on this. And it would also allow them to sell, that in stock amount that they have. They'll say something like logistically it doesn't make sense because we won't get enough orders and et cetera. Well, then at that point, then, have a small print run that maybe is 10% higher than what's there, have that in stock available on the website, and then that's it. Like, I think logistically they're making it more difficult than it actually needs to be for their product. So it is what it
Yeah,
is, but I'm excited for tomorrow. They do have a secret layer that's Dungeons and Dragons tomorrow. So we'll see what
yeah.
happens with that. Yeah.
The one thing that I thought was really like the dumbest thing in this whole thing, they were like, the last thing we want is, oh, Secret Lair had to get in there. So now Final Fantasy is going to be late. Like, you're the fucking company. You plan this shit out years in advance. Like, that's your fault if you can't schedule your Secret Lair and it's going to delay like your biggest crossover set that you ever did. That's a lame fake excuse that doesn't really exist.
And Secret Lair doesn't have to be like all the time. Like, okay, if you have a major set
we don't
coming
need
up that
3 a month.
Yeah. If you have a major set that's coming out that needs to be printed, then print your major set, get the product down for that and what needs to be shipped and, allocated to stores, and then do your Secret Lair. Like, it's not that difficult at the end of the day for that. Like, it really isn't. So I think it's excuse after excuse to try and avoid going on demand, which is what the consumers are desiring. It doesn't make them as much money, I would think, right? Because there's no FOMO. It doesn't sell out right away. In this respect, they could, print, I don't know, let's just say 10,000 secret layers and sell out of it right away versus say, oh, we'll print on demand and they might sell 10,000 over like a several month period. So it's more of an instant, all right, cool. We made $10,000 worth of product, or 10,000 times whatever it comes out to, $100,000 worth of product, and that's gonna be shipped out, and we'll move on to the next thing. It's just like clockwork. Just get the next thing out, get the next thing out. So it is what it is. I mean, it's just corporate greed at the end of the day, and not looking out for the consumer. And it goes into things that we discussed in the past. Hey, video game consoles are sold out worldwide, and scalpers are asking for tons of money on that. Sony and Nintendo, they don't give a shit about that. They're like, we already made our money. Doesn't matter if a scalper bought it or a general consumer bought it. We already made that money anyways. They don't care about the consumer. So,
well, and they know that eventually those products will wind up into the right hands and those people will buy the games and that's where they'll make all their money anyways. Like, the scalpers aren't buying the games, true, but they're selling the consoles to people who are going to buy the game. So eventually those companies are getting what they want out of that relationship.
except for the fact that what they don't factor into this is if I have to spend an extra $300 on a console because it's been sold out.
Well, if you're spending an extra $300, you're buying all the games you want anyways because you've got an extra $300 of disposable income.
Not really. There's people out there that just aren't smart with their money and they're going to spend the $300 anyways because they want it and they have that FOMO experience.
Well, and those people are going to buy the games too.
They are.
Because they're irresponsible and they're already broke, so they might as well.
But they might be too. But they might be too. Well, it's true. But they might be too broke to afford those games, right? Like, realistically, it could have said, "Hey, my budget's $700. Cool, I got this, and I'm going to get like one extra game." When they realistically could have got 3 games, right?
Well, yeah, but they'll buy another game the next month. Like, eventually, they'll buy games. Like, scalpers won't buy games, but whoever they sell those consoles to will buy games, and that is why Nintendo and Sony don't really care about scalpers buying it because eventually they'll get them.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The other thing that's occurring in Q3 this year is Final Fantasy is basically licensed out their board game rights to a company, and so we're going to have a Final Fantasy board game that's coming out in probably Q3. I think it's October is what they stated, which would technically be Q4. But it's a 1 to 4 player co-op based game that's supposed to kind of stay true to the story of Final Fantasies 1 through 3. No information is out as far as like what the game is, how it's going to work. You and I both had the initial thought of like Boss Monster. that's the one thing that makes sense. Battle different monsters, and that kind of keeps in with that JRPG style of gameplay. Um, we'll find out. It's just kind of an FYI. Hey, there's a Final Fantasy collectible game that's coming out, and there's also going to be some collectible dice that go with it as well. So that'll be
I'm
happening
really
later this
actually
year.
interested to see where this winds up, because it's got to be, I mean, it's got to be something that they've planned, for a bit. Like, this isn't like a brand new announcement. They were probably working on this crossover probably around the same time that they started working on their, or this product around the same time that they started working on the crossover with Magic. So I'm wondering if they are like super like waiting on bated breath to see if this is gonna like instantly sell out and make them a ton of money and just be like some new revenue source. Because like, I gotta think that the Final Fantasy Magic set was so successful because of Magic and Final Fantasy connecting. Like, I know a lot of people who had never really messed with Magic were like, "Oh, like I love Final Fantasy and people like Magic and I'm a nerd, like I can follow this chain and get into Magic, or at least just buy these products." And I mean, they were really hitting pretty big, and like you saw like how expensive they were going for. So like the scalping market was huge. So that was like a huge mess of a thing. But like Final Fantasy's made a ton of other stuff. Like, I don't know if everything else they've ever made has like sold like gold like those cards did, but I feel like this is probably going to sell a bunch right away, and then it'll just be
Uh,
one of those things that's like they do a second printing and it's just everybody already got it, and now nobody really cares.
they have card products, like they have Final Fantasy trading cards. They have board games, like the Chocobo board game is out there. So they have books. Like my son has a Chocobo airship book and another book as well that's Final Fantasy themed. So it's not like they don't have Final Fantasy stuff out in market right now. I think the Magic thing was more so you're tapping into a very large audience as is. So the success I think could be stemmed from such a large property that is Magic. I don't see this selling out like crazy and making like a crazy revenue stream. I just see this as, hey, there's gonna be a Final Fantasy board game.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there's gonna be anything nuts. Um, but I mean, time will tell. We'll find out.
You
So
think it's going to be turn based?
probably turn based with those few people. Okay. So let's dive into our big articles this week. This first one here is Valve pushes back the Steam Machine's launch date due to storage and memory shortages. This comes to us from Engadget. I mean, kind of similar to everything else that we've been seeing, right? We talked about last week the Nintendo Switch 2 potentially having a price increase or maybe getting rid of one of their lower tier console bundles in favor of like $500 and up due to things like the storage shortages and RAM shortages and so on. PS6 being delayed. We've seen video game consoles go up in price due to these shortages. PC prices are through the roof as well. God, I even saw today somebody sent me a picture of NVMe storage, a 2 terabyte, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's $700 at Best Buy." Now the same
Man, dude,
storage is,
you set up your backup right in time, huh?
yeah, well, kind of. I'm not using NVMe or any of that type of stuff. I'm using like older types of hard drives,
Mm.
like SATA drives and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, overall, I did set up my backup stuff in a decent time frame, given where storage prices were going. But I also got refurbished stuff too, so it wasn't as terrible because I went refurb. But yeah, like my buddy with that particular NVMe drive, he was like, "Oh yeah, it's $700." I'm like, well, it's $300 on Amazon, but that's still expensive. When I looked at my NVMe, that's 1 terabyte. That exact one, I bought it for $77 in 2024. It was listed for $200 on Amazon for the same exact storage. And I was like, that's nuts, man. Given where storage and such is right now. So a lot of it's in favor for AI. That's where money is right now in the market. And so unfortunately, everything else is being hit from a consumer standpoint. And these console companies are also feeling it as well. I mean, if consumers aren't going to be able to afford the product, then you got to kind of keep pushing it back until You can, but I also wonder how far can you push this back? Because if the prices are continually going up, you're just kind of digging
You're making
yourself
it
into,
worse.
yeah, you're making it worse. Like, just release it. And if you need to increase the prices long term, then just kind of go with the market. Um, but I get why they don't want to do that too, because you do have consumers that'll look at them negatively and say, oh, well, hey, Sony's increasing their prices, Valve is increasing their prices, when realistically they have no control over that. Otherwise, they're losing a boatload of money.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's all it is. But the other Valve items are being delayed as well. Their headset, as well as I think their controller, was also delayed as part of this too. And I am starting
Okay.
to
I
lose my
mean,
voice, man.
I guess that makes sense if they're trying to kind of give everything like a similar launch window. It makes sense to kind of keep some of that back because it's like they sold the Steam controller before, and I don't know how gangbusters the first one did, but like obviously the second one's going to be a lot better if it's got like something that it's launching alongside of, because people will pick up one and then pick up the other. Whereas if they sell the Steam machine first or the controller first, like that might find a home elsewhere and not get matched up with that other product as well. But honestly, when you sent me this article and I started looking over it, I was like, this would murder Nintendo. Like if Nintendo had if something happened to Nintendo and they had to delay the launch of the Switch 2 by like 6 months, this would have like destroyed everything. Like all these like tariffs and increases in like all the spending and cost for all these components. Like, thank goodness for Nintendo that they got in when they did. Like, this is still going to impact them, but they've already done the launch. They've already, made that toughest thing happen. Whereas Valve, I mean, they're not even like in the console business. Like, this is just kind of an extra thing they're doing. Like, they have Steam, and Steam makes them all the money that they could ever need by just hosting games. Like they don't even have to make most of those games. So I think that Steam is going to be, or Valve is going to be able to weather this storm way better than anybody else. Like I can't think of another player in this space that this could happen to, and it wouldn't just be like a huge death now. So good
I mean, I
on Valve for, not making this their main thing and just trying to do it extra. Like it's still going to cost them, but like it wasn't going to be their main revenue anyways.
yeah, I mean, I don't understand why they don't just sell it at a loss for a bit. Like most consoles are sold at a loss anyways. When it comes like, PS3 for years is sold at a loss, PS4 same deal. So
I
I
think
mean,
it's probably like
unless it's too big of a loss.
I mean, it's probably, I don't know if it's even not too big of a loss. I mean, they may have to even just reconcile with the fact that they may have to accept selling it at a loss at this point, but we don't even know what the price point was going to be. And that was already kind of a controversial topic before all these price hikes started happening. So it's like, on one hand, you have a product designed to meet console players and give them some easier avenue into like PC gaming culture. And then on this side, you have PC gaming culture, which is already like a high end niche hobby. Like these people are already paying $2,000 for a system. They're not really interested in this as much, except for maybe a novelty that they can put in their living room to be able to play their library out there. So, and at the same time, you've got like gaming laptops. Like gaming laptops are a pretty, in between those two spaces already. So I think that this is going to be one of those things where it's finally gonna come out. They're finally gonna give us like a date and a price, and it's gonna be way worse, and it's probably going to make this not a very strong contender as people may have thought at one point it may have been. But it's certainly not going to end Steam or Valve or be this like horrible thing. Like they'll just kind of make it work and do the best they can, and they'll probably be fine.
They may even just postpone it for a while, right? They may just
Right.
say, you know what, prices are not where they want them to be. We want consumers to be able to afford it,
Just
and
kidding. That was never a thing.
just postpone it indefinitely and just wait for prices to kind of settle out whenever that happens. Um, yeah. So we'll see long term. It is of interest to me, but it has to be the right price. And I have too many video games as is to play. So
Yeah.
it's not exactly like top of my list right now. It's more of a nice to have, not a need to have. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah. All right. Well, moving on to your article. So go on.
All right. A new Horizon game announced Guerrilla Surprises with Horizon Hunters Gathering, a Monster Hunter like co op action game for the PS5 and PC. So they announced this game last week and it looks like Fortnite, but it's like a multiplayer, like hero style Monster Hunter game. So it's not like Monster Hunter where you got your character and like custom gear and stuff. It's like this is the hammer guy, you play as the hammer guy. This is the girl with the bow, you play as the girl with the bow. Like you select that character, they have their own kit. So it's a little bit unclear, I guess, like how much like, you know, kind of crafting and stuff. Like I guess in Monster Hunter, if you're gonna main one weapon, like yeah, you're only concerned with getting those parts to make your own gear. Um so it may just kind of go that same way. I don't know. A lot of people bounced off this. They didn't really like the graphics on it. People are tired of the Fortniteification of all games. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't see it, man. The original Horizon, Horizon Lego, Horizon Steel Frontiers, the MMO or the multiplayer game that's announced, but isn't this one? Light of Motorum, all 100% same identical. Like you could put them all up on a poster, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. They're all the same game. So,
Um,
you know, this is
the,
just another Horizon game that's indistinguishable from any other Horizon title.
No, this one to me did like look a little Fortnite-y in the way the graphics are done. Um, I wasn't a huge fan of it, just watching a trailer, but it is canon apparently. So whatever's happening in this game and the story that's ongoing with it is supposed to be a part of the overall Horizon world. So you would kind of be missing out by not playing this if you're a big fan of Horizon. But I'm not a huge fan of it. Like the whole concept of having boss rushes in a sense and having several characters to go ahead and like defeat the like just it didn't seem very exciting to me.
How many
Uh
people have those ear things that she has? You
I
know
don't
what
know.
I'm
I
talking about?
haven't
Have you played those games?
I've played Horizon, but it's been a number of years now. I think I
She's
played it.
got that like ear thing that gives she can see like the technology stuff.
Yeah, I mean
It's
that's
like everybody's got one of those now.
yeah. And it's weird because they're like, oh yeah, it's in this part of the world, but yet they showed Aloy in the beginning of the trailer in like that comic booky cell shade type of look. Um, yeah, I don't
You
know.
mean exactly like she looks like in every other Horizon
No,
media
no,
that exists?
definitely not the same look and feel. That people are gonna fight you on that one. It's definitely she.
I
She
mean,
just
when I threw the Lego one in there, I would hope people know that I'm
well.
being wildly facetious.
Oh, I know, I know. Well, and Light of Motorum, of course.
Nope, indistinguishable.
In this
Same
stage.
game, 100%. See, but like here's the thing, right? They've got this game is some like multiplayer Monster Hunter type game with totally different looking graphics. And then they've also got this Horizon Steel Frontiers that's been announced, which is another multiplayer Horizon game that isn't out yet but has been announced. So they're like there's going to be like a bunch of different ways to interact with Horizon in the future. So if you are really into Horizon and, you know, you're really sad that Light of Motorum isn't coming out, you'll have more options.
Fucking Light of Motorum. Yeah,
I don't even
I'm
know, like, I don't even like Horizon, and not because there's anything wrong with it. I just never played it. And it's just like, I never hear anybody else like really singing its praises at me
I'm
that I know. Like I know people make gushing videos online, but people
I
make
sang
gushing
its
videos about
praises
every
like
game.
I sang its praises like when we first started a podcast. I was like, this is my game of the year was Horizon.
Yeah, but nobody listens to you, John, especially not then. How many videos, how many views do we even have on that podcast? Nobody knows.
Older episodes, we got quite a few actually. People, I don't get what it is. Like people listen back to like episodes from, I guess 2019 for whatever
People
reason.
like a backlog. You
Like,
find a good podcast that you like, you'll dig through that backlog.
it's actually kind of crazy when I log on some mornings and I see like 300 something downloads today. And I'm like, what? Like, why? And then it's a backlog. Somebody's downloaded the whole backlog. So thanks to everybody that's downloaded a backlog when you get to this point of the episodes. Yeah, appreciate it. Well, not much else on that.
Nope. Moving on.
Not excited about that, but it's interesting that they're going in that direction. And of course, they do state, Guerrilla Games does state like, hey, our single player is like, where we live, but we're doing this as well. So I just want another Killzone game. That's all I want. Yeah. Okay. So Inflation Deflation is the page master on SNES. And sorry, I'm starting to get tired here. Like it's my 11:30.
You're good.
So,
we'll roll.
We'll roll through this. So developed by Probe Master, which I'd never heard of before. Published by Fox Interactive. I did appreciate at the beginning the little 20th Century Fox song, in SNES. That was fun. Designed by Gary Liddon, Tony Beckwith, and Nick Baines. It was released in November of 1994. It is a platformer with a reception of 7 out of 10 on average. What is this about?
So it's the film The Page Master in game form. You play as Richard Tyler, adventuring through stories with your book friends as you search. You battle your way through horror, adventure, and fantasy, trying to find your library card and the exit. It is a really good movie. It is a game.
No, come on, man. It's pretty good.
It's a good looking game, but it's super slippery. It has very inconsistent rules. So like in the first like levels, you're in horror. And there's some books that you could jump on and kill, and some books that you can't. And they look the same. It's another Horizon situation.
That's why
completely indistinguishable.
That's why you got to get the magic orbs early on and just start
The
throwing
eyeballs.
That eyeball things. Yeah, you get those and you're pretty set.
There's like a sticky hands thing where you could like cling to the ceiling. I did that by accident one time and then lost the power immediately.
Yeah, I will agree with you on the slippery component. It is kind of difficult to try and do certain jumps and grab onto it's floaty. So when you try to grab onto a hook, for example, you got to be right on it, and you also have to press the A button when you get to the hook. Right? It's not like an automatic. Oh yeah, you hit it like Donkey Kong, like you hit the hook and
just grabs.
Holding. Yeah, it just grabs automatically. You actually have to grab it. So that's a little bit of a pain in the ass. The floaty nature of it, and then of course, like you said, the slipperiness.
Did you figure out the book? Like the horror book guy, like in the very first level, you start off.
No, I couldn't. He was asleep.
There's like a sleeping book, and you can't throw him. Like I thought I had to take him to the exit. You cannot throw him up to the platform.
I couldn't even grab him.
It's really hard to grab him.
Okay, that makes sense because I was like, "What the heck?" So I was like, "All right, I'll just complete the level."
Yeah, and the levels are so short. Like that's kind of the thing that I think makes this like not a good game is that it's just like one of those blink and you miss it, like just not really worth your time because there's not really anything to dig into.
Yeah, but it does kind of curve away from, I get that. It's not like super in depth, but it does kind of curve away from the difficulty of like the slipperiness and such because you don't have to imagine if you had a level that was 3 times as long and you had to deal with the slippery controls and such as well.
You mean like a Mario Ice level?
Sure. Yeah, that's kind of a good comparison. Yeah, imagine if you had every level as a Mario Ice level. Mario Ice levels are not exactly my favorite. But this one wasn't as bad.
But that's the thing. It's like you're saying that the feel of the character is so bad that you're happy it has short levels, so you have to engage with it less.
I'm saying that for your sake. For me, I don't mind the short levels because you have different horror levels that you go into within that first book. And there's other collectibles.
And even a branching path.
Yeah, you do have the branching path as well. So I liked it. I thought genuinely like the controls were not terrible. Yeah, it's a little slippery and a little floaty. But overall, like The game looks good. It plays well.
It
It's got
looks
decent
good.
controls. The enemies and being able to, hit them with your eyeballs and such and dodge them and hit on there wasn't anything negative. The music is good. The art is good. Um, it's a good platformer. It's not like it's not the best platformer, but it's not also the worst. That's 7 out of 10. I think is actually pretty fair for this game.
I've
And
seen like a shot. It looks like later on there's actually a part where you're like writing on a book and you're kind of in like a more like a driving perspective where you're like
oh yeah, it's a
moving
bonus level.
forward and like yeah, I
Yeah,
never
it's
made it to the bonus level, but it's cool that it at least has like I like a game that has different modes of engagement.
yeah. So what's interesting with this game is it has a lot of differences from the Sega Genesis version, apparently.
Oh.
So I was actually looking into some of those. I was curious. Most games you look into them and see if they do. So as far as like the world, if you look at the main world, like for Horror Land or the Horror Book, in the top left corner on Sega Genesis, it says like the world you're in, right? In the SNES, it doesn't. But in the like world selections, it says the name of each world in SNES, but it doesn't say on Sega Genesis. So that was one thing that was noted.
Silly.
There's the library cards as you pick them up. To get the good endings, there's two endings in this game. To get the good ending, you need to collect the library cards, right? On the Super Nintendo version, it tells you when you pick up a library card how many you've picked up to this point and how many you're missing. Sega Genesis does not tell you, so you have to manage that manually to understand how many you've collected up to this point. Um, Bonus levels, I think there's like some differences in music. There's a little bit of differences in some of the graphics as well. Uh, Otherwise, most things do look pretty similar. But yeah, it does have its differences, and some of them are like super noticeable. Some of them do obviously impact gameplay when you got to write down like how many library cards you've got versus the game telling you. I think it's a major difference within that game. So overall, I thought it was pretty decent. I think the
I
7
did
out of
not.
10 I think the 7 out of 10 is warranted. Getting into brass tacks on it, 46.98 complete in box, peaked at 71.05 in February of 2024. That price is trending up. A loose copy right now run you 13.43. That peaked at 14.97 in September of 2022. That price is trending down. Overall, I think it's deflated. I think that for an under $15 game, for platformer, I don't think you could do worse at this price point. Or no, I think you could do worse actually. This price point, this is actually pretty decent. And it's, in my opinion, if you found it for $15, a nice copy, I think it'd be worth it. It's, I think in total, it's probably about an hour to 2 hour game. So, when you put the monetary aspect tied to that on there, I think it's pretty good.
I'm gonna go with just right to appease John, but honestly, I think this game belongs at your local library where you could check it out for free.
Dude, if my local library had Super Nintendo games, I would just pay the late fees and keep the games.
I
Yeah,
mean,
like that.
they have games at libraries now, some of
They
them.
do. They have Wii U at most libraries that I think the library near me has Wii U in
Dang.
stock. Yeah. I need to start checking them out and be like, all right, you got any rare games here? I'll pay a 25-cent late fee every week.
Right?
Oh, I had to pay it off. All right, cool. We're good to go. Um, all right.
What's
Well,
that
I guess
one with the bald guy that's real expensive on the Wii U?
Devil's Third.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that one. So I have it digitally too. That's how we played at that time. To
Uh-huh.
it was like $20 digitally and like 350 for physical copy. So yep. All right. Well, our next game, I think we discussed at the beginning, is going to be We're Back on the Super Nintendo. So we'll keep up our movie games, and we'll have to figure out a couple more or one more. I don't know how many more weeks we're going to have here in February.
How much February is there?
Uh,
We'll
Next
figure it
week.
out.
Actually, no, that's it. We're Back for next week, and then one more the week after.
We're back and then we're gone.
Yep. Yep. February done, and then we could do Lego month in March. Might as well do that, right?
There we
So,
go.
all right. Well, until then, this has been episode 380 of the Game Deflators podcast. My name's John,
I'm Ryan.
and thanks for listening and watching.